Hey everyone, today we have quite a few people in this interview, as you can see on the screen here. So with that being said, everyone, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks, Fox. My name is Cody Dyer. I'm the founder of Ethos Metaverse and DogeRun. We're here with my lead designer, David from Ethos Metaverse, and the guys over here from Cyberlete.
Hey, how's it going? I'm James. I founded Cyberlete with Jeff, my partner. I've been playing esports for over 20 years. It's my thing. I'm really glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Hey, my name's Jeff. That's funny.
My name's Jeff.
I'm a co-founder of Cyberlete with James. We've been friends for 20-something years. Didn't really compete on the same teams, but we've known each other for that long and been in this scene for that long.
What's up, guys? I've been working DogeRun and the Metaverse since its inception. Cody has tagged me along with one of my buddies a few months back, and here we are. It's gonna be fantastic.
Awesome. All right, so let's get right into it. So, first question, what is the Ethos Metaverse?
So I can run in with the Ethos Metaverse is a place where you can, live. The idea would be to begin with a realistic galaxy, and it's a place where all of these other worlds can exist. Whether you're interacting through the metaverse in AR or VR down the line, our intent is to encapsulate a whole realistic reality on top of reality.
That's incredible. So going into that, James, would you mind explaining what Cyberlete is?
Yeah, basically we're going to be the first fair gaming platform out there. Honest players will be rewarded. We'll detour bad actors by KYC and know your customer. Also using some biometrics for competitive play aside, and also logging in if you want to log in with biometrics. We're really excited about this time right now. Basically, there's 33% of the world playing games, and in another 5-10 years, 50% of the world, and it's just going to keep growing from there. And I've been in this so long, I've seen a lot of the issues arise. So I have a lot of solutions, and one of the big solutions is rewarding the casual person. It's not just the professional player that's going to get rewarded. It'd be the casual player as well. Yeah, that's a little bit about Cyberlete.
Yeah, you were saying, so you said that you found some issues. Like, what issues are you talking about?
One example, when Jeff went to Everland with UGP, they promised a big prize pool. I think it was 200,000 or so. Well, the teams that went there and competed never got paid. No one ever got paid for that. The event operators bailed out.
Wow.
Took off. And this is something that's happened throughout esports. And
Wow.
One of the concerns, the whole KYC, knowing your customer, is going to detour people, because once we know who you are and you get caught cheating, or you can't just create another account and come back and play in our league. And then our league's for honest people, and you're not going to be able to dupe the system, because we're partnered with Finavant, with their biotech, and you need to KYC with us to play competitive play. And that's where the real money's going to be at. You might be able to earn some rewards if you don't cheat. But
That's absolutely
It makes a lot of sense. I really register with the incentivizing honest play, that moralistic or that ethical question of the putting the shopping cart back, right? It's like some people, if it's not out of your way, I don't have a problem putting 2 shopping carts back, right? If it's just if it's on my way. So it's like, if you're getting rewarded for the acting positively in an ecosystem, the same way that Constellation, which they're backed on and running through, is incentivizing people, authorizing and validating information, is it's a really big part of where the data economy is heading.
This is a really big point. Keeping the network honest like it is gonna, the bigger it is, the more powerful our network becomes. The bigger, more honest people out there, the faster connections we're gonna have, and the better technologies that can come with the larger network as it grows. And Constellation's a huge part of that. With HTTP, it's a big reason why we're rewarding the every user the way we can is because of them, because we're saving so much, returning what we save back to the users, basically.
Right, absolutely. So how exactly will Cyberlete be integrated into the Ethos Metaverse?
We're gonna build them a planet. and helping integrate the unique avatar for their metaverse introduction, And Cyberlete isn't necessarily something that will have just one home. The idea for Cyberlete is that they are setting, I don't want to speak over them, but having the authenticated backing for their entry point into any launcher. Having an application that prefaces your Blizzard launcher, or prefaces your Steam launcher, or prefaces your Ethos Metaverse opening. So it's something that allows access for a unique user to be portrayed specifically here. So it kind of works both ways in how that symbiotic relationship works.
With all that being said, like, how will the tech work on that end?
So we're going to help secure their side of the network. So everyone that comes in through our part will be verified, Cyberlete approval. You've been vetted by us, and this user is going to have access not only in our planet but the metaverse. And I imagine that throughout the metaverse will probably be some part of the transaction with our HTTP. It'll be integrated somehow. That part hasn't been discussed. I'm not a CTO, and that'll be for another person to answer that question. But as far as I know, we're going to basically be the security. There's things that you could do in the Ethos Metaverse that we don't have any part of, but we bring a secure user. That's what we're going to offer to that metaverse.
Awesome. So you were speaking of so what would your plans for the Ethos Metaverse be?
So I'd like to, I know I've got a bunch of big ideas and I'll probably rattle off, but I'd like to hear, David's opinion on where he's at and what, so a lot of the things I described, right, are being translated through David, and David's creating this beautiful world. So I really want to, hear some of his opinion on this.
Well, it sounds like Cyberlete's going to be like a bouncer, right? Per se, in a way, right?
In a way.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah.
Language, I guess you would say. So that's very important because we don't want any cheaters in our metaverse, and we want people to be rewarded fairly, like they have been discussing, and that's what they're trying to achieve. Correct me if I'm wrong, but and this world is going to be vast. It's going to be huge, and we're going to create them a planet. We've already. We have a couple of prototypes and designs that we have been going back and forth. So can I say more about that? Or I'm sure people, right? We have a DogeRun trainers that you guys are going to see soon. And you guys are going to be able to use. And we have a lot of stuff that we're going to be able to customize. And some stuff you're going to be able to be rewarded. And only, through Cyberlete are you going to be able to access this stuff. If they let you through, then you'll be able to access these rewards and the metaverse. So I'll create the world, I'll create their planet. It's going to be a nice planet too, and the rest is the technology will take care of.
So being able to interface the Cyberlete, part of the ecosystem, and let's say they wanted to have, I'm sure they'll have some sort of liquidity pools or different types of things through their website. Let's say you wanted to do that from your home in the metaverse. Your planet will absolutely be able to have a spot or a place you can initiate your rewards pools and see your access. So, it might just be part of your home or your spaceship or any part of your lab that's you can interface with to see your rewards. Because it's like anything else, where we're having a web application to open up or DApp applications open up in game, and being able to interface with programs and protocols. So if that's something that we can, the smoother we can make that integration, because things like visiting any website will start with opening as a website, but ideally it's like, you go to, that's actually something that's up to, we would coerce with the Cyberlete guys on how the interface might work, but it might be a little command board that opens up in your little home, and you have your different spots you can click and to open up the different pools or different, parts of their streaming, so that's a total, or something that we're beginning to templatize that we could work with on other people that we integrate with or have them interfacing with. That's through the Cyberlete side, so that's a real big. I really like looking at the potential of how these things can interface with not only ourselves and who we have here, but every single person we come into contact with. We'll have that secure gaming system and then a secure world or a unique universe that you can look at, just sit around and watch the stars right?
Yeah,
Because
that'd be incredible.
Some people can't see the stars, and that's if you've never been able to just look out at an open sky without light pollution.
We can just look behind you.
Yeah, that's what I try to bring with me wherever I go, but I can't always be with you, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think we have, like as Cyberlete, we have a lot to bring to the Ethos Metaverse. We're going to lay a lot of the foundation, a lot of the roads for people to go. As like one of the things, we're going to have, an esports stadium built on our planet. And there'll be many different events going on in the stadium, the same stadium, different events, different perspectives of the event, different participants.
Coliseum.
Yeah, Coliseum for real. Yeah, digital Coliseum. I like it. Yep. And we're gonna, bring different things like that. And once that's out on the Ethos Metaverse, it's gonna be very easy to replicate and put other places and make it. It's gonna get quicker. It's gonna be. I think. I'm really so excited.
That's gonna be. It's gonna be very important to you guys. There's really no. Your imagination is the limit. Like whatever you can dream of, like as far as like implementation, user interfaces, and what have you, we can create in the metaverse. And Cody has been throwing stuff at me, like ideas
for months.
Yeah, I love it. And he challenges me sometimes, but we get it done. And it's whatever you guys have as far as ideas of coliseums and interfaces and interaction or whatever it is you need, we can create it. And I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be aesthetically pleasing as well, not just functional. So that's
more to come. After we do this launch here soon, we expect to reach out to a lot more people and start pushing a lot more work out. So yeah, expect some more communications your way.
Nice.
Now, aside from the Coliseum, like how do you guys plan, how does Cyberlete and the Ethos Metaverse plan to work into esports aside from just the Coliseum? Are there any other plans?
Jeff, do you want to talk about your triangle?
Yeah, sure. So what we try to do here with Cyberlete is connect these already like groups of people that are already going to be a part of the ecosystems. So you have like your athletes, and your athletes that are in esports, they're gonna flock to the place. They're gonna flock to where the home is for gamers. Once they start participating in the leagues, the fans become inherently, because they're going to be they're going to be the players that are looking up to better players or newer players watching streams or something like that. So it becomes this entertainment and fan value connection. So there's the triangle. So you're trying to take your entertainers, your streamers, and your athletes and your fans and kind of put this in a home so they have a place to kind of uniquely visit esports. So like right now, it's like the wild, wild west. You don't know where to go. And if you do know where to go, it's still kind of scattered all over the place. You don't know what competition's going on, who is actually professional, is it amateur, like what is going on. And from there, we can define it and put some like definition behind it and make it a little easier for not only the fan, the athlete, but also the entertainers, the people who are making it for the fans and being there for the fans. And it's kind of the overall idea for us.
Like categorizing everything.
It fits into a synergistic circle of that passing through, and then that validation of who's doing what and where the money's going.
Yep.
So a lot of times, like a league will start, and we've seen many leagues start and go, and a lot of the so-called sweaty gamers will come in first. And these are the people who are really good at video games. They
sweaty gamer.
Find all the endpoints. Like they know how to break the game. They figured it all out soon. And then you got other people who don't have as much time, and they're trying to figure out how these people are so good. And so some of these gamers will, stream live or post some videos, and then you have these people who become who are the fans, basically trying to be as good as the sweaty gamer. He's now a fan, and this guy who's sweaty's realized, well, I'm actually better at entertaining than I am at sweating over here. So I'm gonna just start, doing my share of entertainment. And that's really how that begins. And if a league can maintain that, it's gold.
To add there too, just to add to that thought, is a lot of that time too, when the fan or when the player starts becoming a fan, they start realizing too, oh man, I don't have enough followers to do anything anyways. So you don't have 100,000 followers. I can't even be in this league. I can't be in this sponsored money. I could be the best player in the league, don't have enough fans to join it, which is just kind of like defeats the purpose. You want the best players playing against the best players, have the authentic esports. Yeah,
I've always hated that, especially like on Twitch, like Twitch Rivals or Twitch, like any of that stuff. They're very, they'll only do the people with the biggest following as opposed to how good they actually are. So that's a real big problem in that industry.
The gatekeeping is strong.
Oh, it really is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So
something we want to be sure,
Yeah, absolutely. So
in general.
Yeah. So what would you guys say? Like, what is the future of Cyberlete? What is your ultimate goal? I would say.
Well, ultimate goal is to create a whole NFL type of thing for esports, and Cyberlete would be that NFL league type of league. Put the regulations in. More or less put a rule book out there that makes everybody follow the same rules and regulations. So you don't have people cheating over here and then people doing this over here and they're getting away with it. And there's nobody being dad, I guess. Nobody's telling people what to do. It's Wild Wild West.
About 5 years from now, we see it as a place where competitive gaming's regulated strongly, and there is a fine definition in between the tiers and a path from amateur to professional, maybe. And also alongside that, we are rewarding the just common gamers, so people who are just playing regular, solo games or multiplayer games of any sort. That you can record your stats and do X amount of other things on our system. So in 5 years, it's not just about the competitive gamers, but now they have at least a path, a simple, solid, trustless path that's going to do good for them and their whole scene.
That trustless nature, that's what first got me into, crypto. The first time I read the Bitcoin white paper was just the trustless nature of not needing to know who's on the other side of whatever you're doing, and that it's going to be good.
Bitcoin white paper is why I'm even here. So right. That changed my whole life.
So that's the future of Cyberlete. Now, what would you say is the future of the Ethos Metaverse?
So my goal for the Ethos Metaverse would be to encapsulate an overall AR, an augmented experience of the galaxy we live on, and then expand into other worlds. So it's almost you can't tell the difference between fantasy and fiction, or fantasy and reality, because of the layers that are being developed into these technologies, and giving you a place that you don't have to run from, or people who have broken legs who can now run in the metaverse, or being able to fly and being able to feel what it's actually like, and being able to give you a larger than life definition for your world, and potentially when you don't know anything else. Because I'm above of the belief that when you know better, you do better. So if you can, and especially if you can give people a bigger perspective, or if you can show people the stars and show the people the potential of what reality can be, while also making it easier to interact. Like, for example, being able to go to a sports center, or being able to go to an NFL stadium, and then instead of paying for that with your wallet, that's going to be something that pops up with a little web browser that pops up with your augmented reality glasses. Because that just makes much more sense. It's a lot easier than having to do all that, because the contactless stuff is just going to keep growing. So they partnered with Affinivant, like they mentioned, and that's a project that I work for. And the founders of that worked on the team that made the touchless pay for MasterCard. They worked for MasterCard for over 20 years, and they were on that team that created that touchless pay. So we're working on a device, that you can onboard, offboard with, and being able to pay with that. So I think the future of this contactless world is only going to increase. And I don't really like the idea of detaching from reality, but if you can enhance reality, there's nothing that's going to stop us from me getting to that. So just going to keep leveling up and adding worlds. And what my hopes for this, and what David has begun, especially as you see here with Cyberlete, is we give you a home where you can build. And I want to enable, like I said to Outfox, and Jen, when I met them, is I want to give you a place where you can make your games, or you can make your world, and we can help you do that. So it's a real big load on David right now with all the stuff we keep firing at him. We will need to expand, but just beginning to encapsulate. So it's having a place for these stars to live, in a universe for all these worlds that to create, and I want to help you create the world that you want to live in.
So it's pretty much Ready Player One on steroids.
Out of all the metaverses, I'm most excited. I love all the metaverses and all the ideas, and a big chunk of my time is reading about it. This is the one I'm most excited for. And what Cody is, you're just seeing the tip of the iceberg with this man right here. He's got so much into this. It's
oh my god,
beyond exciting. It's crazy, guys.
Every day is a new idea from Cody that I'm hearing about every single day. It's awesome. I love it. He's super innovative.
They're backlogged for months, especially you event, and then they sit and they the things are literally just waiting to get chunked off.
That's awesome. Before we go, is there anything you want people to know about Cyberlete that we haven't discussed about, or is there anything behind closed doors that you guys are going to discuss?
Yeah, we got some cool technologies coming out. When hypergraph grows, as we see it growing, and the network secures itself, one of the cool technologies we're going to have is to see who's cheating in the game. You got our application running. After this technology is out and we're done, we're going to be able to see who's cheating on the other side of the screen. You're going to have a trust factor. And this check is going to say, JoJo has a trust factor of X amount, and he's red. And that's why he's, on top of the leaderboard. And from that point, you can choose to leave the game. You can report him, do whatever you want. But at least you'll have that ability if you're on that app, even if he's not. Because by that point, the network will be so secure. One really exciting technology that I can't wait to bring.
Record all those stats and process those stats, with machine learning or the artificial intelligence and those things like that, and rationalize it into a way to know who to play with and not to play with.
Yeah, and our CTO, he's a expert in machine learning and neural networking and such ideas. It is going to be cool. It's really exciting, and to see it come to life is 20 years ago when I originally had this idea. This technology wasn't out there at all. At all. There's no way we could have done this even 5 years ago. But next year, beyond, is definitely, it's here.
Yeah, every day this stuff gets more advanced, and we're just trying to. Well, I think we're at a point where the technology is developing even faster than it can be cataloged. Because you have people on the other side of the world, working for years on the same thing without contacting each other. And that's why you have all these different networks that are doing pretty much the exact same thing. But and then I think you got a raise coming within the the next few months, right? That's
yeah, we do by end of year.
By end of year. So that's to be something that people can keep an eye out for. Cyberlete will be launching or doing their fundraising and for accredited investors, I believe, and then potentially some other ICO or a launchpad style things.
One thing that I was just curious about was you guys. I'm assuming James and Jeff, you guys know about the game Valorant. You guys have heard of? Okay. So when they were first coming out, their whole thing was, our security is the best. We're gonna have anti-cheat. It's gonna be the greatest thing ever released. And then when it came out, it was pretty bad. It wasn't. Everyone was really upset about it. How it wasn't as good as it was. Where do you think they went wrong, and where you guys are gonna go right?
The first step that they went wrong is they did everything right for what they were doing. I will give them that. They did everything correct in the sense of where games are today. But when you add blockchain to the mix, you're adding KYC and validation to things, and you're adding ledger stuff. And then when you add Constellation to the mix, you're adding even more complex data execution that you can do with the consensus. So there's just something that we believe will be able to judge a little bit more as the human possibilities of things, and that's future talk.
Yeah, they did a lot right. I mean, to track what they've tracked takes a lot of data. It's a lot of server power. It's a very expensive business being anti-cheats, software manipulations. It's a joke. It's a joke, really. I think one of the places they went wrong was announcing they were coming. Everyone knew about Vanguard before they were there, and already had pictures of the gameplay. And so some simple programming, like a trigger bot, and the game had a red outline around the enemy. So a simple fourth grader who knew simple programming could make this trigger bot activate and shoot the player as soon as his crosshair went past the red line specific cue. All right. So fourth graders are able to get to like master class because their technology, it was like a week into it and people were doing this basic stuff. And of course, a lot of them got banned, but you shouldn't announce your anti-cheat and like how you're actually working before you. That's one problem I see.
I really like the idea of how the Constellation. For people who are watching this who aren't familiar, Constellation runs on a proof of reputable observation consensus mechanism, which is to differentiate from the Bitcoin proof of work with the computational mining and the Ethereum proof of stake with the providing liquidity. Proof of reputable observation works by having nodes that act as validators that elastically add or can compound and add depending on the demand of transactions, and also act to provide the stability and sustainability of the ecosystem through those validators, decentralized. The data lives in all those devices, same way the Bitcoin network would work, but it processes raw data and not just Bitcoin. So how we're hoping to add to those things, and something that we're working on that end, especially with Finovant, is putting a reputable observer at the like we've been talking about this whole time, is having the bouncer basically. And if 20% of the entire internet right now is malicious bots. So if you can make the entire network for example in the HTTP proven nodes, then you eliminate 20% of that entire latency and redundancy in the network.
It's huge.
It's so big. It's so big.
That's incredible. All right, so is there anything you want people to know about the Ethos Metaverse before we go that we haven't talked about?
So for the Ethos Metaverse, a lot of people are, be like, what's the transition in DogeRun? So for when I kind of, brain baby DogeRun, just having the Z thing, I didn't really have, I just wanted to do a simple racing game on, a browser. But then I was looking for a game designer and I found David, and was able to, he made the racing construct within a weekend, and he had it on the moon, and it was a beautiful, running track. And I could have just, all right, we're only going to do a browser quick racing, figured out, cash, I don't necessarily say cash grab, but don't do as much to it, but because you can just get the revenue and then figure it out from there. And that might have been, a better approach for having, more runway. But what we're at is I figured out the world we can build, and I figured out what David could do. And the whole galaxy and where DogeRun lives is more important than just that the Doges run. And then not just that the Doges run, the Doges breathe. The Doges reflect the stars and the atmosphere and the landscape around them, because their skin is this crazy carbon poly that David designed. So it's like having the ability to kind of see what we can do with the ships, where we can fly and where we can take this, and building in Cyberlete's planets and building in a decentralized exchange planet, and being able to interface with more biometrics as as more people come into this world. This is going to be a proven, unique metaverse. And something I don't think that they mentioned is around being able to attach your machine ID to your user. So when you're entering the metaverse, we know you have the that you can get that verification of who's in there, right? And that proven universe can add anything to it, and we're interested in we're more partnerships or building out for more worlds, because as long as you're on the same page as us and being the purest, building the best metaverse and adding as much incentive and value to the user base as we possibly can, because I'm never trying to take anything out of DogeRun. I'm probably the biggest token investor, right? I've never sold a token, right? So it's like putting this all into the work we're doing. That's where we're heading, and we want, especially like building, especially building with people like Constellation and building people with Cyberlete and people like Finabont and the other people that we're working with, is about that genuine building. And that's what I'm in it for, the tech, right? I'm here for the long haul. I'm not going anywhere. This is where I'm at and where I want to be.
Yeah,
I don't know if I overspeak, Cody, but I just want to put something in on it. This metaverse that he's creating is infinite. It's as infinite as our universe. You can literally travel around and go exploring until you get lost. What he's talking about is, it really comes down to the user and how they want to create this, and it's limitless. Like, for an artist, I think you'll love it. That's all I wanted to say.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely. We love Cody's ideas.
David, anything you want people to know?
I have so many upgrades coming and so many updates for you guys. It's insane. Like, I just have fun creating all this stuff. There's base upgrades, customizables, that James mentioned. It's going to be infinite. So it's going to be a level. It's going to come to a level when you're flying your spaceship in space, and it's just going to become procedural, and it's just going to keep building, but it's going to be accurate to the sector of the galaxy or wherever you are. And it's just going to keep going and going. If you want to travel for a few years, to get to the nearest star, that's up to you. But you'll be able to have a prompt where it says, where do you want to travel, or whatever, a map, a stellar map, and then you'll be able to travel instantly, or do it the old-fashioned way, propulsion.
You're having the checkpoints. You gotta explore the map first. We like the classic World of Warcraft way. You gotta explore the whole map, and then you can fly there.
Yeah,
fast travel.
Yeah, you'll see a Cyberlete dude standing there at the waypoint as you come into the portal to the new universe.
That was something. So something we didn't really touch on, but it's something that we really haven't fully explored. But like we were mentioning in our graphic, was how the portal and being able to access these points through the hexagons, and being able to walk through those worlds, almost like I don't want to say like that portal at the top of thing on Saturn, but or like having all those different waypoints that are in your Mayan ruins and things like that, or Aztec.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that.
Some kind of like a dungeon crawler type of portal that you could see.
Yeah. But the whole point is, then you have a Cyberlete guard standing there at the door. Anywhere there's a portal to the metaverse, and you have a guard.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and potentially, something I was, I don't want to get too deep into it, but around like structures in some places in the world where if you have to go through a gate, you have to pay the police officer at the gate, and then but he has to the constable, and then he has to pay his boss, who has to pay the mayor or whatever, and their whole system is basically just down the line of who's paying for that gate. But those access points, more or less, the point is are required energy, right? And it might cost you value. For example, as we might integrate to the Ethos token, you might be required to use Ethos to energy to power the portal, or potentially, if it's for an event, it's like if it's a Cyberlete event, you might be required to throw a few Cyberlete to pass through the portal, right? Just to get to your let's say for a competition, right? And you want to have it in a place. Why not? This costs, this is your entry to get into the competition.
It saves a lot of time and gas, using that portal.
Yeah, saves a lot of time and gas flying there. Taking that portal for sure. Especially some of the things that we haven't fully explored yet, but like around into the game later on, like creating like your own factions, not necessarily like guilds per se, but having your own your star groups, or your traveling parties. And ideally, we'd like to create a sector of the universe where there's planets you have to farm the gas from, and that's how you power your ship, to warp jump, or to do the different things. So that'll be potentially some interesting parts to not only farm from your planets, but be able to have resources in the game.
Yeah.
You need more Vespian gas, you know?
Exactly. And some of the planets be richer ingredients than other
Exactly.
planets. And as far as that like interstellar, like the neighborhood you're talking about with factions, I think that's really cool. You can have different, even within the same galaxy, you'd have different factions in that galaxy.
Right.
And for our own solar system and our part of a galaxy, we have a stellar neighborhood mapped out. And, you know, further we get into this, there'll be more neighborhoods, more factions, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, because so what we could do is, you know, set you up a whole solar system, right? And then have it so that this is where your solar system might have the liquidity pools. Like, let's say you have a DAG Cyberlete liquidity planet in the solar system, and you have to go to that in order to farm that pool. Or you have like a Ethos Cyberlete token liquidity planet, and you have to go to that planet for the liquidity.
Yep. You got to go to another galaxy, say the AVAX galaxy. Or,
You literally have to go to a different chain on the other side.
Yep.
There you go.
You can plug in a lot of different utility tokens into any kind of token, and that could be their own faction, you know, in that part of the universe. That's where they accept this pair.
Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting concept that you instead of having, you know, like a liquidity farm page, you have a liquidity farm solar system, or, you know, or different liquidity systems, I guess, where you can go mine over in them. That's interesting.
Yeah. Put a little visual to it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you have to literally fly to the things to go to the Joe Lending or something.
You fly up to it and you see your little drones carrying the Vespian gas from the mine back.
Oh, it has little probes that run to
Yeah.
It's like if you got, you know, like per AVAX, it gives you one little probe that flies back into
Yeah. Yep. More AVAX put you in, the quicker it mines, and the more probes you see.
I really like that.
That'd be fun.
All right, David, I need that
Nice.
next. No,
I'll work on it.
okay. Yeah,
Never ending ideas for David.
I love it.
All right. Before we go, is there anything else you guys want to throw in there that we haven't talked about, or do you think we cover all bases?
Just a big fucking thank you to not only you guys for being here today, but the community. You know, everybody watching this. That's if you spent the time to watch this, dude. Like, I fucking love you. If you spent this whole 35 minutes here, you're grand. If you're if you're searching for alpha leaks, you found them too. So
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, that is going to be it, everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. It was a pleasure hearing all of your plans and ideas. Absolutely incredible. So viewers, make sure to hit that sub and like button, everyone, and we will see you in the next one.